What's up, Veggie Fam? Welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Rose from VeggieRose.com. If you like delicious plant-based recipes, I have tons of them on this channel. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you'll be notified every time a new video goes up, which is once or twice a week depending on how much deliciousness is coming out of my kitchen. Also, you will get these tips and lifestyle things and videos going on in between those food videos. So if you're into that sort of thing, don't forget to subscribe. We would love to add you to our Veggie Fam community. So we're at a time of year where a lot of people choose to eat more plant-based or decide to go completely vegan. And the reason for that is because January is right around the corner, which means New Year's resolutions looming in the near distance, and also Veganuary. So Veganuary, if you guys don't know, is basically a time of the year or a full month of the year. In this instance, it's January, where people choose to eat all plant-based foods for the month, and some people decide to, push it further and go on a full plant-based diet, which I think is an awesome thing to try out either way. Whether you want to go fully plant-based or vegan or not, it's a great thing to do. So whatever the reason for you wanting to eat more plant-based foods, I've got you covered in this video because I have 7 tips just for you. Number 1 is simple swaps. Make easy little swaps that aren't that noticeable in your diet, like switching from dairy, butter, milk, mayo, dressings, and coffee creamer, if you use those, to a plant-based version, because those are things that are much simpler to switch out in your diet, and they're not as noticeable because the alternatives taste very, very similar, if not exactly, or better than the actual, dairy version of these. And nowadays, when it comes to your different options, there are so many different plant-based butters and plant-based milks and even plant-based creamers, where you can get different milks like almond milk, cashew milk, rice milk, soy milk. The list goes on and on. I don't even know how many alternatives or plant-based alternative milks there are because there's just so many. Every time I go to the supermarket, I see a whole new plant-based alternative to milk that I hadn't seen before. So if you don't like one, that's okay. Just try the next other 100. Number 2 is use the crowd out method. So basically the idea behind this is that you're not cutting out your meat products and your non-plant-based products from your diet immediately. What you're doing is adding more plant-based foods into your diet, and that will kind of crowd out and push all of the other non-plant-based items from your diet. So simply add more fruits, veggies, nuts, seeds, and legumes to your diet, and then slowly you will see that the non-plant-based items will start to dissipate from your diet. And that actually gets you used to eating more plant-based and actually craving more plant-based food, believe it or not. Which also reminds me of an extra tip that's not even on the list, but that is giving different things a chance and kind of like having an open mind. Sometimes you will try a recipe with a certain ingredient. For example, for me, it was tofu. I never liked tofu because whenever I would try it, it just wasn't made properly or not to my liking at least. But then I started playing around with it and making it different ways, and now I absolutely love tofu. So if you try one thing one time or once or twice and you're not a fan of it, give it a chance, guys. Try different ways, season it different ways, cook it different ways, and you just may end up liking it. Number 3 is plant-based your favorites. What in the world does that mean exactly? This is a piece of advice that I give to everyone who asks me how to become vegan or how to eat more plant-based. And the reason I say plant-based your favorites is because many people in the beginning, when you can't figure out, you don't have your footing all the way, everything figured out. So you start to eat lots of salads, lots of pasta, and just not enough nutrients. And then you end up feeling weak, and a lot of people end up a bit malnutritioned, which is why they end up going back to a non-plant-based diet. It's because they're not eating enough and not getting enough nutrients, which leads them to not feel good, So you go back to what normally made you feel better. So what I say is whatever foods are your current favorites, things that you eat on a weekly basis that you fall back on all the time, things that you can't imagine yourself not eating, because if you don't have that, what in the world would you eat? Those kind of staples that you would always go for and always eat, those are the things that you want to find plant-based alternatives for. And let me tell you, just a quick plug here, I have tons of recipes on my channel, so subscribe, take a look around. You will find some of your favorites on here. If not, shoot me a comment, we'll talk about it, but chances are you will definitely find some of your favorites on here. So yes, that is my biggest piece of advice, because you don't want to switch to a whole other type of diet and not know what to eat. You need to have options, you need to know what to eat, and you have to feel good about it. And it has to taste good, because nobody has time for bland food. Number 4 is meal plan. I swear by meal planning when it comes to being organized and staying on top of things. If you want to eat healthy, if you want to eat plant-based, if you want to stay on a budget, whatever diet you're on, meal planning is the way to go. I have a video on meal planning which I just posted last week, so check that out. I will link that down below on how I do my meal planning. But the reason for this is because you, especially early on, if you're not a meal planner per se and that's not something you're interested in, it's really important for you to meal plan when you first switch to a different diet, because that way you have your recipes ready to go. It can be something super simple. It doesn't have to be like a super long recipe. It can be a super simple recipe, just so you know what you're gonna have at least for dinner every day, and then you can make a list of your groceries of what you need to get, so that way you have everything you need for that new diet that you're trying out or that you're switching to, and you're not stumped and not falling back, and you know, you're just always ready to go and you know what you're eating and you just are a person with a plan. Number 5 is don't be so hard on yourself. We're all human, guys. If you're trying to go completely plant-based and you accidentally mess up and you eat something by accident, or you just have a slip up and you have something and then you're regretting it and you're kicking yourself and you're kind of going through the whole, oh, so this is not for me because I messed up, don't stress about it too much, okay? You messed up, it's okay, you're human and you're trying your best. Next meal, you'll do better. Don't stress out, don't make it so hard on yourself. It's gonna be okay. Number 6 is take advantage of your plant-based alternatives at your local supermarket, whether that is plant-based cheeses, plant-based milks, plant-based meats. Our plant-based alternative favorite in our household is the Gardein beefless grounds. We love to use these grounds for empanadas, and my current favorite right now is a recent video I just posted, I'll link it down below, is a vegan Korean beef recipe. It is so good. I use it for meal prepping, so I'll make it and then I'll actually have it for lunch when the kids are at school, and I'll have it for lunch with a little bit of white rice. It is insanely delicious. You guys have to try it out. So yeah, especially in the beginning, I know a lot of people lean on alternatives to make the transition easier. Dude, what in the world? Give a girl a break, guys. I have one more left. Number 7 is spices are your friend, guys. Contrary to popular belief, veggies are actually delicious and can be flavorful. So if you play around with different spices and herbs and toss them onto your veggies and your plant-based food, it can actually be delicious. Most spices and herbs are plant-based and contain no animal products, so check them out. Of course, read the label if you're trying something new, but don't eat bland food. There's no excuse and no reason to ever eat tasteless bland food. Like, ever. Ever. I solely believe and highly believe that you should always be eating delicious food. Whether it's a snack, a breakfast, a lunch, or dinner, it should always be tasty and delicious. So that is that, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.